What's up, guys? Mr. Second Passport here. Today I'm going to show you how to fly around the world for under $839. I know we've all been cooped up for so long now, it seems, because of this pandemic, and it's just fun to dream sometimes about possibilities, right, for all of us. So today I'm going to show you how to fly around the world, put in a lot of research into this for you for under $839, doing multiple stops on almost all the continents, really, in the world. So, prices include taxes. But there's a few things you need to keep in mind before you try to book this or plan this, and that is, number one, it matters which way around the world you go, right? So we're leaving and coming back to the U.S. in this example. So if we're leaving from the U.S., I found it just a lot cheaper to head westward, right? To head westward and go to Asia first and so forth. And then the Middle East and then Europe and back to the U.S. and whatnot. So which way you go around the world matters. Number two, be flexible with the dates. You got to be super flexible and be willing to stay maybe even a few weeks more in certain places than others in order to fly around the world on a budget like this, right? And generally speaking, the slower you travel, the less you're going to spend anyway, right, if you're on a budget. So slow travel is always a good thing. And if you have the time, of course. And number three, the third thing you should keep in mind is don't book this whole thing at once. You might be tempted to. Maybe you only have a month to do this, and then fine, I get it. But if you have options, don't book the whole thing at once. Keep your options open. You might talk to other travelers and want to do other things that wasn't on your mind at the beginning of the journey. Us seasoned travelers, we kind of laugh when we meet other people who maybe aren't as traveled, who booked the whole thing right down to the day, every single day of their trip is all booked up. It doesn't make much sense, especially when you're traveling a little longer term. So let me show you how to do this. The routing is important, right? So you got to know the routing. And then you can use a tool like Google Flights to pick the days that you want at the cheapest prices. Right, so you just type in the routing you want in one way or whatever, just like any booking site, and then you can pick the cheapest dates for you and the dates that work for you, and you can see the whole months of dates and compare with this incredible tool, Google Flights, all at once. And Air Canada, lo and behold, has a flight one way from LA to Tokyo for $255, including tax. And United has one for a really close price of $278, a little bit faster time in the air as well, no stops. So again, this is how you would get to Tokyo, right? So Tokyo would be our first stop. This is the cheapest way that I found to get basically from North America one way to Asia. We're going to fly down from Tokyo on down to Singapore, right? On down to Singapore. That's just how it worked out with this Japanese airline called Zip Air. I never even heard of it until this. It's $149. Only this flight I've seen, you have to book a couple months in advance to get the really cheap flights. But you can see this all really quickly on a tool like Google Flights. So we're flying down from Tokyo, next stop Singapore, another stop that's not too shabby, super interesting place, Singapore, let me tell you. And okay, so the next stop, right? Now in Singapore you have a few options. For a couple $100, you could make a stop over in India, another super interesting place that might interest a lot of us. And from India, specifically Mumbai, you can fly pretty cheap, usually around $150 or so, to the Middle East like Oman or Dubai, and you could spend some time in that region in the Middle East, right? And you can also, once you're in Dubai, there's a budget airline hub there called Fly Dubai, I believe, and you can get over to Syria like I did once, or Israel or Turkey, this whole region here, or Egypt, for probably less than $100 if you wanted to, and then from there it's super cheap to get up to Europe. But for the purposes of this journey for under $839. We have to kind of skip all that if we're on this super budget. We're flying right from Singapore to Greece, Singapore to Athens with this airline called Scoot. And for $145 nonstop, one way, so it's not like you have to do a whole bunch of stops, and you can get over to the European region. Obviously, once you get over to Europe, you can do a whole bunch of stops for super cheap with the budget airlines like Ryanair and EasyJet to do a few extra stops in that region if that's what you want to do, right? So then you need to get from Athens over to Barcelona, and from Athens over to Barcelona, Spain, and which would be our next stop. For $56, you can do that with EasyJet. Okay, depending on the date, of course. But yeah, just search it on Google Flights, like we've done here, and you can see there's quite a few dates, 54, 56, that you can get. And if you can't get those prices, you can get 66, 75 pretty easily. Okay. And then our last stop on our way around the globe, right, from Barcelona, the cheapest flight I found in North America was to Miami, Florida. And that flight was $235 with Air Europa, right? It's a one-stop flight, not too bad for $235. And if you add up all those stops together, multi-stop journey, several continents, we just went around the world, North America to North America, for $838. So, again, there you go. That's how you can get around the world for under $839. I'm Mr. Second Passport. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button below. Take care.